Hey folks, I'm Frederick Van Johnson. We're here at Portrait Masters 2019, and I scored a coup. I got the keynote speaker here, Mr. Joel Grimes, who came in at the last minute under stressful circumstances and then hit the ball out of the park with a fantastic presentation. Thank you for sitting down with us, man. Thank you. It's a pleasure. Your work.
You too.
Your work's humbling. That's all I got to say. When I look at your work, I feel about 3 inches tall. So thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. No, very good. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff in your presentation I want to talk about. We have a very limited time, but I want to keep it focused on some actionable things that people can do. One of the things that I took away from your presentation was just the idea of getting started and repetition.
Yes.
Right. Take us through that a little bit. That's the mainstay of what your talk was all about, I think.
Well, when you look at the task before you, which is to be a photographer, be an artist, and also to make a living with your camera or your artistic, vision as an artist, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And you think when you look at it, it's like jumping the Grand Canyon. Yeah. It seems like impossible, or climbing Mount Everest with high heel shoes on, which, by the way, I've never tried.
Yeah, but don't try it. It hurts.
No. Now as I look back, there's a lot of fears that I had, misconceptions that I had, and you have to work through all that, right? Yeah. Today we're in a great time in history because we have tools and presenters or people that say, you know what, it's not as hard, or it is hard, but I'm saying here's some ways of helping ease that transition into being a full-time photographer or whatever. And so we're in good times. A lot of people are out there doing it, but you also heard me say something, which is 90% of all people that attempt to do this will end up at some point quitting.
Will quit. Yes. Yeah. That's the same statistic that they talk about with just small businesses in general, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So. And
that's because when you get beat down, which we all do, it hurts.
Yeah.
You get frustrated. You get tired. You get discouraged. All those things.
Yeah.
And as a human being, that's just because we're human, right? It's like I remember one time this girl told me we were dating, and she said, "I'm done.
I'm done. See ya."
And I remember getting in my car and driving away, and I was a tough guy, but I couldn't hold back the emotions.
Yeah.
But later I thought, you know what? It's okay to do that, right? Because I'm human, and so it's okay if you go and get beat down and say, "I want to quit." But it's not okay to quit.
But you had, in your presentation, I think the entire audience nodded in unison when you said this. You said, you think you post something online that you think is your great work, and you get a ton of great comments, and then there's that one that says, "What were you thinking? You suck."
Yeah.
Right? And that's the one you go to bed. How do you mitigate that? How do you get away from just focusing on the negative and absorbing the positive instead?
Well, okay, so once I understand my humanity, that helps. That I'm human, I'm weak, fragile, and secure. That I do get rattled when someone says I suck, right?
Yeah.
So once I understand that, it's just, I have to say, you know what, that, I'm not going to dwell on it. That's just somebody's opinion. And guess what? That person probably is just grumpy and, woke up on the wrong side of the bed, whatever.
Having a bad day.
Having a bad day. And so I don't let it get to me in that way. It's not. I don't think it's about necessarily getting thick-skinned. It's more of understanding who I am. Yeah. And then I can overcome that.
But we're in a different world now, right? Because back in the day, when we're shooting film, there was a limited audience. Only certain people could see. People within your close geographic area could see the print that you worked on forever and ever. That's different today. You can create a print that you worked on for several days, you toil over it, you think it's great, you put it out there, millions of people see it. Do photographers today, is it a prerequisite to have that thick skin in order to keep going? Because a lot of people will not have that skin, get hit with the troll comment, and then quit.
I think you're going to have to be able to figure out how to navigate in this crazy world. You have to figure it out.
Yes.
And I don't know if we get the right tools sometimes growing up. I think, my dad was a pretty positive guy, my mom, but I think when you get out there and get beat down enough, I had someone rescue me, and he said, don't let one person steal your dream.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that one person that rescued me, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
So I think we sometimes need that person to rescue us.
Yeah.
A good close friend or someone. That's why I think it's important to get a support group that is looking out for your best interest.
Yeah.
And say, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
Yeah.
And
Been there, done that. Don't worry about it.
Pick
Yeah.
up the pieces and move forward.
Yeah.
And but you have to learn how to navigate in this world.
So, Joel Grimes, what's next for you? What's the next big thing that's on the horizon that you could say, you know, I'm gonna crack that nut, and if I don't, I'm not happy.
Well, what I want to do now is personal projects. I do self assignments. Like I try to do one a week, but I want to do more personal projects where I'm on the road for an extended period of time with one idea, like photographing cowboys in Montana or something. And then
Harley Davidson's down Route 66.
Well,
yeah.
I did that 100 days on the road with shooting Harleys,
yes.
right?
Yep.
I want to do more of those. That's where I'm in heaven, because I understand that concept that when I start out, let's say Harley riders, and the first 30 days I'm fumbling, not really understanding what I'm doing. Then after a while it starts to come together. By the time I'm done with my 3 months or whatever, 100 days, I've got it pretty well figured out.
Yeah.
It takes that long.
Yeah.
Even someone who's been doing photography for 40 years, it takes a while to get in the groove of a project or a genre.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think people look at my work and say, oh, you're brilliant. Well, no, they don't understand all the bad pictures I took leading up to getting to where I figured it out.
Like Jim Carrey said, what was it, like a 40-year overnight success? Something Okay, so talk about that. One of the things you hit on, like we said in the beginning, was repetition.
Yes.
And how you give yourself 50 self-assignments a year.
Yes.
So that's 1 a week with 2 weeks off? Is that
Well,
like
sometimes I miss a week and I do a Saturday and a Sunday. I'll set up 2 different shoots.
That's fantastic. What does that look like? Like, give me an example of one of the assignments that you give yourself.
Look at my portfolio.
Now, those are all self-assignments.
80% of them are self-assignments.
Wow. So what should photographers do? So people that are watching this, and because a lot of photographers, like we talk about a lot on This Week in Photo, the idea of the gear acquisition syndrome, where photographers, their hobby isn't photography, really it's just buying cameras and lighting gear.
That's our human nature, right? It goes back to we love glass, we love cameras, we love megapixels.
It's nice, yeah.
It is. But the thing is do we want to produce boring pictures? No.
Yeah.
All right. So you got to get past the boring ones, and that's repetition. And you get to do something that you have your signature on it, right? That represents you as an artist.
Yeah.
There's nothing greater than that. So that takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
So it's through repetition. And when I do a commercial shoot, I get some good pictures. I mean, in terms of it's meeting the client's needs, and some of them I go, wow, that's incredible. But when I do my personal assignments, I'm getting exactly what I want. Yeah. Because it's me. I'm the client.
Yeah.
Then I go and I put a hat on. I do something crazy, and it's not. I love working in a client scenario because I think having a collaborated effort generally produces a pretty amazing picture. Yeah. But I also like the ability to say, that was my idea. That I wanted to do that or whatever. And I'll look at an image, and I'll come across what I go, that's a good idea. Yeah. I'll maybe do it a little different. I'll do my twist to it. Yeah. And then it gets me inspired. So
you have like a Joel Grimes idea book of these
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to peel stuff out of magazines all the time, but I don't do that really anymore. I used to have a folder on my desktop that would just dump a cool picture
stuff in there. Yeah.
Go back to it.
That's interesting. A friend of mine once told me, a photographer much more experienced than me, said, if you think about learning photography, and tell me if you agree with this, think about learning photography, your shutter finger is loaded with a million bad images. And the only way to get them out is to press the shutter. And you get to the good one at the end of that.
That's right. So I would say the same thing. I used to walk into a room. I have a client with me, and let's say there's big windows. There's a bunch of maybe say computer stations, and they want to get a picture of this room. And I walk in. I go, okay, nope. Walk over here. There's my angle. Yeah. And they go, are you sure? What about over here? I go, nope, can't do it because I got all my cross light over here. I need to shoot from this angle. What about over here? Can't do it. That's the light behind me. It's not going to work. I can't shoot. I got one angle in here. Yeah. Why do I know that? because I've done it so many times and made the mistake of shooting from the wrong angle.
Repetition.
So it's really eliminating the bad choices. As you get mature, you've already said, I've done that, it didn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of
That's experience, right? That's the definition of experience.
Yep.
I've done that. Listen to me. I know if you put your hand on the oven, it's not going to be good for several months after that, right?
That's right.
So I asked you what's next for Joel Grimes. If people want to dive in and learn more from you and look at your work or even hire you for commercial jobs, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
Well, joelgrimes.com, everything comes through there. And I just launched the Joel Grimes Academy. I have 40 hours of training.
Awesome, congratulations.
I cover everything from the be an artist to we call the craft. That's the basic nuts and bolts of how to take a picture. I talk about optics, lenses. I talk about this, this new concept I'm doing called platography. And I'm not going to explain that because you have to, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's the future of photography. When I say that, I put the name platography on it, but it's working with multiple plates. It's, I did a big campaign for Chrysler, and I used that whole technique with that. It turned out incredible.
It's kind of
it's like a compositing, but only I'm doing all the parts in camera. And then later I put them together in one final image. So it's really the future of where photography is going. I just did a big thing at Photoshop World where I explained that, called Where the Future of Photography is Going. So joelgrimes.com, we have that, and I'm doing another one light masterclass where I'm just taking one light, every possible scenario I can think of, one light, showing how simple it is to rock with just one light. So
for like model photography type.
Anything, models, characters, whatever it is. But
awesome.
People, all people.
And then last question. I know I said that was the last question. One more. A lot of photographers and models these days, they exist only on social media. They only have an Instagram account, not even Facebook anymore. It's just what's your Instagram? No business cards, nothing. Where do you fall on that? You said all roads lead to Joel Grimes. That's your Rome. How do you feel about the social media aspect of that?
Well, unfortunately, we cannot survive today without social media as a business owner.
Yeah.
I have to have it. I know people at my age, they go, oh, social media, forget it. I've had to break into that, kicking and screaming. My wife has done most of it. But and I would say this, the old days was one-on-one like you and I are talking right now. I'd meet with an art director. I'd knock on that door until they let me in.
Yeah.
A lot of photographers are not doing that, and they're not getting work. And so I say there's still nothing better than a one-on-one.
Yeah.
So keep pounding the doors and get in, and the odds go up exponentially if you go and have a one-on-one meeting with somebody.
Yeah.
So I say, yes, social media is important, but one-on-one's better.
Yeah, it's kind of like getting an email versus the weight of getting someone licking a stamp and writing a handwritten letter. All right, Joel Grimes, thank you so much, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate your time today. JoelGrimes.com. We'll see you in the next video.